Good morning, students. This is Renuka. I am working as an assistant professor in Dr. SNS Rajalakshmi College of Arts and Science. I belong to Business Administration Department. Previous video we discussed about the GST registration. That's a continuation video. Now we are going to discuss about the GST charges. Suppose if you are going to register your company, after the registration, that once the process is over, automatically we can go for the calculation of GST, that how we are going to make it for the some charges. Okay, so before we are going to pay the charges, that is a GST calculation, we have to consider the three fundamental concepts. So first one is time of supply, place of supply, and value of supply. So these are the main three important consideration under the fundamental concept of GST charges. Okay, so the time supply is nothing but, suppose if we are paying the charges, at when we are going to pay the charges, so at what time, that is we have to consider the time of supply. Then where we have to pay the supply or the charges to the GST is nothing but the place of supply. Okay, that is either the interstate or intrastate sale. Suppose if we are going to supply any goods or services, at that time we have to consider the either the interstate or intrastate. We have to calculate before we are paying the GST. Then next third concept is value of supply. So is nothing but the transaction value. That is a goods value we have to determine once we have to pay the GST charges. So these are the main three important fundamental concept under the GST when we are going to calculate the charges or GST rates. Next we move to the deep or depth discussion about the time of supply. Okay, so the time of supply under GST is nothing but the time when the goods or services are considered as supplied. Okay, for example, we are taking the one person, they are going to Mr. Sharma sell product, it's a worth is 75,000 to some other person, we are taking it as a Mr. Patel. Okay, so the invoice was raised and issued on February 10th, 2025. The goods were supplied on February 15th. Okay, please be clear, students. The invoice issue date is February 10. We are supposed to send the supply of goods on the date of February 15, and the payment we have to receive from the Mr. Patel on February 25. So here we have to make the time of supply is nothing but, which is the date is we are call it as a time of supply. Can you tell anyone? Yes, correct. It's a February 15 is the time of supply. So we have to send the goods to the particular end user, that are we are supplying the goods on particular date. That is called the time of supply. Okay. Next we move to the time of supply, how we have to make it in a through some graphical representation. I explained it. Okay, so whether that invoice and payment, we have to take the both. Okay, that invoice date and payment date we have to consider while we are going to consider calculating the GST charges. So liable to pay tax. Okay, either the invoice date or the some we have to take it as a payment date. Okay, next we move to place of supply. So under the place of supply, already I explained, no, that is a either it is coming under the interstate or intrastate. So the under the place of supply, in case we are take it as a supply of goods, at that time we have to make supply within India or outside India. The same way we have to take the supply of services. So that also we have to make it in two categorization, that is within India a supply of services, and outside India a supply of services. Okay, next we move to, it's a value of supply. So the value is nothing but the goods value, that is a transaction value. Okay, so the supply of particular items will be sent to the particular end user, that is a value of price is, should be, we have to make it as a sale consideration. Okay, and also we have to make the proper price and also the GST rate, everything we have to calculate under the value of supply. Is nothing but the transaction value we have to calculate based upon the GST rate. Okay, clear?